Hey everyone, so I thought it would be fun to do some triple stamping today, and I decided to do a circle shape, and so I went ahead and picked out a stamp that I like. This one is a Stampin' Up! Stamps from Betsy's Blossoms. It's a really cute set. And so I went ahead and picked out some framelits. These are by Fawn. They're called Scalloped Circle Stackables. And I chose the size that matched the stamp the closest. And then every other one, so that would be this third one, every other one down, I cut out in white, and then one size bigger, every other one down, I cut out in black to be my frame. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how I put my card together. So I started out by cutting my white ones, just like I said. So here's my 3 little pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and add just a touch of adhesive onto the back of them, just enough so that I can have them stick and remove them when I'm done. So I'm just going to eyeball this and put these together. You could certainly use a ruler to do this part. I'm not too worried about it. I find that when you frame them with black, they tend to just kind of work out right, even if you're just eyeballing. Okay, so once I've got that put together, I'm going to go ahead and grab my little embossing powder bag. This is an important step when you do this part because you really want to make sure that the embossing powder only sticks where you want it, and also that you don't leave any oils from your fingers behind. So once we've done that, the next step that I did was I went ahead and stamped my image onto my little Stamp-A-Majig because I want to be able to line up exactly where my embossing, the VersaMark is going to go. I need to know exactly. So I've kind of lined up right about there. Let's go ahead and ink up our stamp with some Versafine. Well, VersaMark, this is what the pad looks like. It's a watermark stamp pad. This is great for embossing, especially beginning embossing. There are certain pigment inks that you can use that are also great with embossing because the ink stays wet longer. Okay, so I've gone ahead and inked that up. Also, I want to just show you that I made a little mark at the top so I'd remember where the top was when I stamped on my Stamp-A-Majig. So let me double check my placement here that I like where it is. We'll go ahead and remove our sheet and stamp our stamp. Make sure and press firmly because you know that we're stamping on 3 layers, so we want to make sure that as much transfer as possible happens from our stamp here. Okay. You won't be able to see it, but it's there. So let's go ahead and add our embossing powder. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a piece of scratch paper on to my table here and grab my embossing powder. I'm going to go ahead and use this Tangerine Tango color. This is a Stampin' Up! Orange. It's a little bit warmer than a regular orange. Oh, and we'll go ahead and pour the embossing powder onto our piece here. Okay, that looks good to me. Actually, maybe one more little spot here. I'll set that aside for 1 second. I always like to put my embossing powder right away. And I keep mine in these little containers that they came in because I feel like it's a space saver. I just didn't want a whole bunch of little plastic containers to store. This is just so much smaller and it's easier for me. So just a thought when you're considering if you're going to switch over to tubs or not. I just don't want that extra storage, you know. I'd rather have something little. So that's why I just put them back into the jars they came in. Okay, so let's grab our piece again. And I just have a little claw clip that I'm going to use to hold my piece while I hit the heat tool to it so that I don't burn myself. So I'm just going to grab a little piece here. And I like to turn my tool on for just a second to make sure it's getting hot before I put it to the piece that I'm going to emboss. Just going to check it on my hand here. Only long enough to feel heat, not long enough to burn myself. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and start warming this up. The fun part. Love to watch the magic happen when you emboss. Switch sides here. So it just takes a couple of minutes to get this going. Just want to make sure you get every bit. If you miss any of it, you could accidentally brush it off with your fingers. I love this orange. Isn't that bright and springy? I'm so ready for spring. It's so funny how when it's rainy, we like want the sun, and when it's sunny, we want the rain or the cool weather. Or at least that's how it is in my life. Although I love living in Washington State. I really love sweaters and the cooler weather, to be honest with you. So, but you can have a little too much of a good thing, right? Okay, so I'm looking and that looks pretty good to me. I don't think I've missed anything. Oh wait, maybe right here. Okay. So let's go ahead and put this together. Just want to double check. Okay. So then we can pull in the black pieces that I cut. 1, 2, looks like I dropped one, huh? There it is. Whoops, I thought I'd already put dots on this one. Apparently I didn't. So I put some little dots around the edges, so I'm just going to grab my little gel pen here and add some dots on the smaller one. Really quickly. Felt like it framed it, just really pulled everything together. And we're going to do that one last so it has just a second to dry so I don't accidentally smudge it. So let's take off our piece here. Gently pull off that adhesive. It peeled just a little bit, but I'm totally not worried about that since obviously we're going to stick it, right? So let's add some adhesive. Whoops. And frame this piece. I love black against color. It just makes everything pop so beautifully. And let's do our next one. And you can use pop dots for this part. I think I'll just pop my whole piece up after I put it together just for time's sake. But on my example, I actually did put pop dots in between. Okay, let's do our next one. I'll center that one and pull. It just comes together so fast and so beautiful, doesn't it? And again, don't worry about that. If it bothers you, just use some removable adhesive, and then you won't accidentally peel off any of the paper. I'm not worried about it since I know nobody's going to see it. And this last one I think I'm going to pop up just so we have some dimension. I think it looks beautiful when you pop up all the white layers. I mean, the black part. Okay, so there is our main little image. Isn't that cute? I love how it pulls together. So let's do the card part, and I'm going to list my dimensions down below so I don't have to remember how to do it today, except for this black one. I did do the black one at 4 1/8 by 4 3/8, and then I grabbed this EK Success scallop punch and went ahead and punched both edges. And so let's put this together real quickly. You can see how fast and what a great look you can get when you use, oh, my brain. When you do triple stamping. So, and then here's some matching cardstock. This is kind of a plug for my Stampin' Up! Business. I really wanted to encourage people, even if you don't use Stampin' Up!, to find some paper and ink that matches that you love. So whether you use Stampin' Up! Or whether you use, what is it, Simon Says stamp or Paper Tray ink or whoever you use, just pick one, because I love that you can get coordinating embossing powders, stamp pads, and everything just pulls together so beautifully. So consider that. Just a great little access, I mean, it just helps your card making be so much more successful. I'm going to grab some gingham ribbon, and then I also want to do my little bottom stamp here first. And so here's my Stamp-A-Majig again, so I can line up my sentiment down here at the bottom and kind of center that. And I'm going to go ahead and use a Versafine pad. And again, I love this ink because it gives such a deep black, but it doesn't dry really quickly. So if you use this ink, either you need to hit it with your heat gun real quickly so that you don't accidentally smear it, or be prepared to just set it aside for a second. Okay, so I've got my Stamp-A-Majig here. Line that up where I want it. This ensures exact placement. And then we can line this up. There we go. And you'll notice, I don't know if you can see it from there, but on the U, I missed just the tiniest little bit. But don't worry about that. You can certainly just take a black marker and very quickly fill in. In fact, let me zoom in just a hair so that you can see what I'm talking about. Down here at the bottom, just the tiniest little piece of the U. In fact, you may not even be bothered by it, but I'm just going to grab my little black pen and just very gently fill that in. Whoops, you didn't see it on camera, sorry. Filled it in, and nobody's any wiser. It's just completely good. Good to go. Okay, so a quick little heat with my heat gun so that I don't accidentally smear my ink while I'm putting the rest of my card together. Don't want to ruin that beautiful white space, right? And then we can kind of look at placement real quickly. I know I want it kind of to the top and to the left. So let's throw our ribbon on right about, oh, there, that looks good to me. And I'm just going to grab some Scotch tape to do the ribbon part. We'll flip that over and place some. Double check my placement here. I love gingham. It's such an easy way to add a quick little splash of black. And we'll tape on our other piece. Okay. And then before I put my focal point on, I'm going to grab a little bit of baker's twine. And I think I'll just, keep that doubled. Then we'll get a thicker bow and slide that through before I attach my focal piece here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some more pop dots for the back of this. I love triple stamping. I don't think I do enough of it, but the effect is so much fun. So look through your images and see what you can do. If you don't have any, I think it's easiest to do it with, nestabilities or stackables, but if you don't have any of them, don't even worry about it. Just cut your own squares. Decide whether you want a 1/2 inch or an inch in between everything. And look at your stamp and see which shape would work best. Okay, looks like I got all my pieces together here. And we'll lay our focal point on right about there. And then we can tie our little bow. I like doubling the baker's twine. Feels like just, thickens things up, gives a little bit more body to our embellishment here. Little trick on the bow, once you've tied it, the string that's down on the bottom, that's the one you want to make your first loop with. And your bow will be successful. You can kind of play with it until you get what you like. Oh, and try it one more time. Isn't that funny how you can be perfect at home when you're doing it on your own, but then when you suddenly have to put something on camera, things aren't always perfect. Okay, there we go. Okay, a bow that I'm happy with, and we'll grab some scissors to trim those tails, and then we can add this onto our card base. A little trick on the card base. Again, I'll list my measurements down below. I think this card base ended up being, when it's folded, oh, I can't remember. I'll list it below. But so there's my little top piece, and we'll go ahead and add this on. So I've already scored down the middle, and we're gonna, you can add pop dots if you want, or you can just add adhesive, and I'm just gonna add adhesive this time. Where you've added the tape, that'll help the adhesive stick a little bit better. So with my card open, I'm just gonna use this top corner to kind of line things up. When you're trying to do something the exact same size, sometimes it gets tricky. And I find I'm more successful that way. And then you can fold it and trim it. Then it seems like things tend to work out a little bit more perfect. And then once we've done that, and you can certainly use your paper trimmer if you want to. But I'm just going to grab some scissors and trim off this bottom part. Just do whatever works for you. Go a little bit thinner than that. Sorry, I'm at a weird angle. Okay. So that looks good to me. So there's one in orange, always thinking of you. There's our one in green. I think they turned out so cute, don't you think? It's just such a fun little technique. And of course, because I love blue, I had to do one in blue. So anyhow, give triple stamping a try. It is so much fun. Comes with such a great effect when you're all finished. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Hope you have a fabulous day. Talk to you soon. Bye.